What's up, everybody? Welcome into A to Z Sports Picks. Brad and I are going to have a great show for you this Friday. Get you all set up for the betting weekend. Brian, my man, looking sharp, buddy. How we doing?
Doing well up in Atlanta. That's why I do not have my A to Z background. Sorry about that, but ready to go.
Well, you know what? As long as we have you, buddy, then we're good to go. Everybody, welcome in A to Z Sports Picks. I'm Al Bell of CBS Sportsline alongside Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com. A to Z Sports Picks is brought to you every Friday by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Look, use BetMGM. Use promo code A to Z Sports. That's ATOZ Sports. All right, to get a risk-free bet right now of up to $1,000 on pro football. Any game that you want, $1,000. Promo code A to Z Sports. That's BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older. Must be present in the state of Tennessee. For gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. All right, Brian, got no time to waste, buddy. We got a big one here. Alabama at Tennessee. All right, the last you saw, around 9. Alabama, is that correct? 9-point favorite?
Circa and Bet Rivers moved up to 9, I would say a little over an hour ago. Now, not everybody has followed suit, but I mean, it was pretty much 7 across last night, wasn't it? Maybe a couple of 7.5s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a big jump. Like, we're seeing a big jump. And obviously that's got to do with Bryce Young. Like, he must be good to go.
I think that's probably the speculation. I mean, I'm not saying that. I don't know that. I don't know if it was they got hit hard with heavy bets or if they just got information that they feel confident that Bryce is going to go. My thoughts on the game all week have been that, well, I don't want to play it until I know about Bryce for sure, which could be all the way up until 10 minutes before kickoff. We don't know. I've felt like if he gets downgraded, that I think Tennessee's got a really good chance to win outright. And then also the number would dip below 7 and maybe somewhat significantly below 7, maybe even below 6. But and if he got upgraded, and this was me saying this on other shows when it was 7 or maybe 7.5 in the last 48 hours, I was saying it might shoot up to close to 10 if Bryce is going to play. And my thoughts are that, I think Tennessee's got a good chance to cover regardless. And if Milroe is starting at QB, I think Tennessee's got a good chance to win outright. Has there been any update on this McCullough, the safety who got arrested?
Not that I've seen.
Yeah, so right now we're kind of assuming he's out, and Tillman's definitely out. So, those are some injury factors, not as big as Bryce, but that play into it for Tennessee. But for right now, I'm on the sidelines, man. I don't have a play, but I kind of let you know what I thought there.
Yeah. Look, I don't disagree with any of that, right? And I think this is a pretty tough game to cap, like in terms of a full game. Because I could see the over coming into play. I could see the under heavily coming into play. I could see Alabama. Like, I think there are 3 game scripts how this game could go. Alabama could win big. Alabama could win right around the point spread. Or Tennessee wins big. Like, and what I mean by Tennessee winning big is pretty much what we saw out of LSU in Tennessee. Like,
you think Tennessee could give Alabama woodshed treatment like that?
Yeah, I do. And I think they could do that to anybody because I think that there is a game script that is very real for Tennessee. And I think that they showed it against LSU that if Tennessee gets up, good luck. Like, big. Good luck. They're a tough team to come back against because they can eat clock while going on up-tempo offense. They can run the football. Their run defense is pretty good. Like, there's not much difference between them and Alabama in terms of run defense, right? Like, again, I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is there's a scenario to where if Bryce Young's not good, like 100%, he starts, gets knocked out, other quarterback comes in, like and Tennessee's just pumping in touchdowns, that crowd is going, like, it could get out of hand. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, like, those are the 3 scenarios. I don't see Tennessee hammering down, like, winning a tight game. Like, I don't – again, they could do it, but I just don't see that playing out. So that's what I'm saying. Now, in terms of how to bet it, I think I've got this thing figured out. Billy Napier and Brian Kelly have both said the same thing. And Nick Saban did it on Tuesday. They've all said the exact same thing. Their game plan is to start the game to keep Tennessee, keep their offense off the field. All right? However they got to do it. Running the football, taking field goals, eating clock, whatever they have to do. Okay. So I think that the play here is Tennessee in the first quarter +3. Now, if you don't like that, right? If you don't want to play Tennessee +3 in the first quarter, play the over of 14 in the first quarter, because that means, like, if Tennessee doesn't cover +3, it means Bama scored 17, right? And just open this game, boom, 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 gone, right? Do I think that happens? It could. I don't know. But I do think that Tennessee +3 is a pretty good bet, because I think Alabama will try to eat clock, run the football. And if they do that, then you're looking at 3 series per team max, right? Tennessee, if they get a field goal, they're involved. If they get a touchdown, they're going to cover that number. Like, they're going to cover that number. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I feel about it. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think that Tennessee's best part of their defense is their run defense. And if Bryce can't go, that bodes extremely well for them, because Milroe looked terrible throwing the ball last week. Now,
he can run. That dude's fast. I agree with you.
For sure. But I'm just saying the best part of Tennessee's defense, they've been very good against the run. They've not been very good at all versus the pass, but I don't think you really have to worry about that with Milroe. And I think they can stack the box and, hopefully, not allow what Arkansas did, give up 70 plus yard explosive plays in the fourth quarter alone when you're 12 points ahead of the number. So, yeah, and then if Bryce plays, there's just too many question marks for me. How healthy is he? Is he 75%? Is he 95%? Et cetera, et cetera. I think if Bryce is close to 100% healthy, I think this is the worst crop of wide receivers Alabama's had in a long time. Now, that's really not even that big of an insult to this group of wide receivers. They've just been unfathomably elite at that position for so long. But I do think Alabama would be able to pass the ball very effectively. And I think that could, if Bryce is close to healthy, maybe it is such a high total, though. But I think the over would have a decent shot. But again, man, until I know about Bryce, I just can't bet this game. And so it's probably going to be a situation where I'm just looking to bet it in game and forming an opinion on how healthy Bryce is, how Tennessee's looking, if they're missing the veteran 4-year starter safety, how much they're missing him, being out, assuming he's going to be out. So just going to kind of play those variables. But I don't think I'm going to bet anything pregame unless I just see Bryce out there and they're showing film of him in warmups throwing darts.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's tough to bet this game without knowing that. And he could start and not be 100%. Right. And these two teams are built identical in terms of these two teams are built around their starting quarterbacks. Like, if you take Hendon Hooker out of the game, Tennessee's a completely different team, right? Alabama's a completely different team without Bryce Young in there, right? Now, I'm not saying that Alabama's bad without Bryce Young. Like, they're always going to be a good team, but I'm with you. Like, that's what makes it so difficult. But again, I go back, I really do think the first quarter is the way to play it. You could even maybe possibly do first half, but I think first quarter is the way, especially if you're getting +3. Like, if Tennessee scores at all in the first quarter, you're probably going to cover. I'm not going to say it's a guarantee, but you're probably going to cover, because I think Alabama will try to eat clock and shorten that thing down, because that's the biggest thing. Is you just have to limit Tennessee at the beginning of the game. Like, I think that Heupel showed against LSU, like, that's what he wants to be, to where he just takes you out, right? So we'll see, man. But yeah, I think
Tennessee was just spectacular last week. It
was a perfect game. Like, it was just a perfect from the very beginning. You're rarely ever gonna have those, but they can happen, dude. Like, you come out and you throw a pick against Tennessee early and they punch it in, and then you punt and they punch it in, it could get out of hand on you quickly, right? So, like, I think that, yeah, like, I'm going to lean Tennessee first quarter there on that one. All right, now, before we get into our full board of picks here today, I want to talk about Omaha Steaks. Now, Brian, look, from tailgate parties to busy weeknights, the flavor experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to savor all the flavors of fall with their mouth-watering assortments of perfectly aged steaks, ultra-juicy burgers, and easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. Right now, Take advantage of 50% off site-wide by shopping their semi-annual sale. The sale only happens twice a year, and it's on now with 50% off delicious customer favorites. And when you use promo code A to Z, that's ATOZ, at checkout, take an additional $30 off of your order. So, Brian, don't wait, my man. Go to omahasteaks.com, enter A to Z at checkout, and stock up on fall flavor today. Omaha Steaks is perfect for those chilly and busy fall nights with entrees before the kids can even say, Brian, what is for dinner, my man? And don't forget to use promo code A to Z at checkout. Score an extra $30 off of your order. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak. It's the best steak of your life. Now,
nailed that read, brother. Hey, can I answer Lucas's question in here?
Yeah, of course you can, man.
So, Lucas asked us, when do inactive reports come out for college? Okay, there you go. No, Lucas, they do not. And it's nonsense. And I wish that college football would fix that because there's way too much uncertainty. And now we have too many states legal and too many people betting and amounts and amounts of bets, amounts of money on those bets, etc. And it's horrible because these coaches purposely mislead us constantly. And a lot of times we don't know until 5 to 10 minutes before. So unfortunately, Lucas, no, we do not get reports like that in college football, but it's time. It's over past time. So
it is past. Like I have prayed for that forever.
Yes.
Once we get it, man, it'll make things so much better. All right. Now let's go to the NFL real quick, Brian.
Yep.
All right. So I want to look at how to bet a Titans bye week. Obviously, no game. Okay. So I want your best bets in the NFL. And you know what? I need them right now. What do you got, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm liking some NFC East underdogs. I'm going to go with Dallas plus 6.5 at some books. If you're 6.5 and want to buy that half point to 7, I recommend it. And look, Philly's won me some money this year. They've been good to me. But this Dallas defense is just outstanding. Micah Parsons is probably the best player in the NFL right now, or at least through the first, 6 weeks or so. And look, Cooper Rush is just not making mistakes. And when you've got a great defense and a pretty decent running game, that's what you want out of your quarterback. He's thrown no interceptions. He's now 5-0 as a starter in 5 career starts. They're off back-to-back wins by double-digit margins. Parsons has 12 QB hits, 7 TFLs, 6 sacks, a fumble recovery, a forced fumble, and their Dallas's stout D line is facing. And I haven't looked at, and right now is about the time we get a lot of Friday NFL injury info, and I haven't looked at Philly, but as of yesterday, they had 4 of their 5 starters on the O-line were listed as questionable. The Cowboys 3-1 most straight up and against the spread in 4 games as underdogs this year. So I'm going to go with Dallas plus 6.5, maybe even 7 if you can buy that half point. I'm also going to go with the Giants as either 5.5 or 6 point home dogs. I don't know how they can be listed as home dogs this generously right now. I know they're coming back from London, but last week Minnesota and New Orleans were coming back from London, and they both won. Saints covered barely. I don't know if Minnesota covered or pushed, but they did win.
Yeah, they pushed. It depended if you got 7 or 7.5.
What the line was. Yeah. So anyhow, Kayvon Thibodeau, the first-round pick for the Giants, playing really well since he missed the first couple of games, but he's had 8 QB pressures in his first 3 games. Daniel Jones is toughing it out, but it's mainly about Saquon Barkley, 533 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 5.5 yards per carry average. I also, not as much amount-wise, but I also like the feisty Falcons, the only NFL team with 5-0 or an unblemished ATS record, 5-0. Their games have been decided by margins of 6-3, 4, twice 4, and 1. And, they're at home to the Niners and catching 5.5. If Pitts is upgraded and he's been listed as questionable right now, then I definitely am on it. I'm already on it for a little bit. And so those are my 3 NFL ones. Still giving some thoughts to a couple of others. Seattle being one of them, but haven't pulled the trigger. But right now, Giants, Cowboys, and Falcons. Giants and Cowboys, my 2 favorites.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go completely opposite on you on the Giants. I'm going with the Ravens, minus 5.5. And look, the Giants have been phenomenal this year. All right. But I do think that they have been playing kind of above their heads, and especially at the quarterback position. And I think Baltimore is playing much better football than people give them credit for. I think this is going to be a difficult one because Baltimore is still kind of going through finishing games, right? And I think that that's going to be a point of emphasis for John Harbaugh. But again, like it'll be a pretty good one. But I'm going to go with the Ravens there and ride them. Look, next. Sorry, Chiefs. Bills -3. Look, I know that it's a square play. I totally get it. But I think this is the most important game on the Bills schedule. I think
I'm seeing 2.5 at most books instead of 3 right now.
Even better. There we go. Like I think that everyone with Buffalo knows exactly what time it is with this game. They want to get the AFC Championship at home. And really, this is the team that they're probably going to have to go through to get to the Super Bowl. I think, look, and not that Kansas City's not like prepared, you know what I mean? But I think that Buffalo is locked in. The same thing when we looked at the Bills at the Rams in week 1. I think it's that kind of attitude. Chewing gravel. Let's go. It's go time, right? Also, I think that the Bills' ceiling is just higher. Like, when they're at peak, good luck. Like, I don't know if anybody can beat them, right? So we'll see. It's going to be a fun game, but I'm going to take Bills -2.5, -3, depending on, where it sits right now. Last two, I'm going to take the Colts -2 at home against the Jaguars. The Colts aren't a good football team at all. Jaguars are fun. I think that we see a kind of a little bit of a get-right game for Indy with a low number there. You might even be able to get it at 1.5, so I'll take them there. And then lastly, Panthers-Rams, under 41.5. Usually I like to ride teams when after they fire a coach, but not in this one. I think this is a get-right game for the Rams. I don't think that the Rams will necessarily score a ton. Panthers defense is okay, but I don't think that the Panthers are going to score at all, right? And I don't want to mess with a -10 on a spread, but I'll take the under there. Like, I think it's going to be 24-6, right? 24-9. I think it's going to be that type of a game. I'll ride the under there. All right. Now, moving over. College football. All right. Brian, I'll go first since you went first last time. All right. I'm not going to make you do it every single time here. All right. I'll be quick, too. Clemson, -3.5 at Florida State. I think Clemson's a better team. This is also their final conference road game of the year already. That's crazy, right? So, yeah. So I'm going to take Clemson there. Ole Miss -15 against Auburn. Look, this could be a tight one in the first half. Ole Miss isn't exactly a team that comes out on fire offensively. They do defensively. But in the second half, they do. Like, they'll put up points. They'll run the ball on you. And I think that Brian Harsin and Auburn, like, we're getting close to that time. And there's going to be a blowout there. Auburn's got a bye week after this game.
What are you setting the over-under? I'll go – so it's Central Time. I'll go 11:02 a.m. Sunday morning.
Yeah. Yep. Like, I think it's a done deal. And somehow Lane Kiffin's always involved in these things one way or another. So, yeah, I think it's going to look like Ole Miss Vanderbilt last week. Somewhat tight in the first half. Second half, Ole Miss just takes advantage. And then the last two plays, Western Kentucky -8 at MTSU. I think Western Kentucky's just a better team. And James Madison -12.5 at Georgia Southern. So what you got, bro?
We're on the same page on a lot of these, which is probably scary for you because my college has not been good at all lately. So I got a good number on James Madison. I got him -10, buying it from 10.5, but that was like either Monday. I think it was Monday morning. And, they're 5-0 straight up and against the spread. Centeo, their quarterback, 15-1 TDI&T ratio. All their stats are incredible nationally, including number 1 in the country in run defense, number 2 in total defense. And Georgia Southern, Clay Helton's brought some exciting football, but they're awful on defense. All their defensive numbers are ranked in, the 90s to the hundreds out of 131 FBS teams. I'm on Clemson, the same as you, and just glancing at their schedule because you had mentioned that was the last ACC road game. They only got one more road game, period, and that's at Notre Dame, and they get an open date before that. So if they survive Tallahassee, 4 of their last 5 at home. Now at Notre Dame will be tough. And Notre Dame is playing better, but that sets up pretty good for Clemson to get to the CFP. And I would say by the half point from 3.5 to 3 on Clemson. And I agree with you on Ole Miss. And I don't know if there's many 14.5s left, but if it's 14.5, buy it to 14. If it's 15, that's okay. I think they put it on them. Let's also go with a noon Eastern kick. Penn State +7. So the spot here is favorable for Penn State. They've got the revenge angle. They lost by 4 at home to Michigan last year, and they've had 2 weeks to prepare, whereas Michigan's playing their 7th game in 7 weeks. And the last time Penn State went to the Big House, no, it was the 2020 COVID year when the Big Ten started late. But remember, Penn State started 0-5 that year. They were 0-5 going to the Big House as an underdog, went in there and won by double digits. And they're also 12-8 against the spread, their last 20 as a road dog. Let's also go with Utah, kind of like Clemson. It's actually there was 1-3 on the board, but if your number's 3.5, buy it to 3 against USC. Utah's won 11 home games in a row. Their last 8 as a single-digit home favorite. They're 8-0 against the spread. Any type of home favorite role, the last 30, they're 21-9 against the spread. And this is desperation mode for Utah because the loss to Florida is non-conference. They're obviously out of the CFP race. But even though they lost to UCLA last week, if they can beat USC here, they'll essentially be in the lead on USC. But UCLA's at Oregon next week as an underdog. UCLA's got to play USC later. So Utah gets right back in the thick of the Pac-12 South race with a win here. And they're 3-0 both straight up and against the spread at home this season. So Utah, Clemson, James Madison. I'm also going back to the over for Charlotte. The over is on a 5-0 run for Charlotte. If your number's 63.5, buy the half point to 63 because that's a key number for a total. It's a multiple of 7. The over is hit 5 in a row for Charlotte. And I don't know why my write-up doesn't want to pull up for me there, but the combined scores are way over 63. And I left one. Oh, here we go. The combined scores have been 65, 77, 83, 76, and 76. Charlotte dead last in America in scoring defense. They give up 46.3 points per game. And I forgot a one from earlier. I'm going Mike Evans prop over 65.5 receiving yards. Pittsburgh's secondary is banged up, and Russell Gage and Julio are banged up. So I think it's more targets for Evans. There we go.
Nice. I like it, dude. Nice rep right there. All right. We're going to play a little game to end the show. All right. 30 seconds or less. UFC. You got anything for us?
I don't.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I threw that at you. You know what? It wasn't fair of me to do it to you. Now, I will say this. I've got to play for you in Major League Baseball. Braves, team total over 3. Juice a little bit to -150. Going against Aaron Nola. Had success. Braves. There you go.
Is that in 5 minutes?
It's at 3:30 Central, I believe.
Okay, because I'm in Atlanta, and so they're going to make me watch the Braves game, so I'll probably bet that too. Last thing I've got, a couple look-ahead lines for next week from DraftKings. No picks yet, but Bama's -17 at home to Mississippi State. Ole Miss is -2 at LSU, and Clemson's -6.5 to Syracuse in Death Valley.
There we go. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Brad and I will be back next week, Friday, 2 p.m. Central, to break down all of your best bets for that. And also, we want to give a big thank you to Omaha Steaks. And remember, use promo code A to Z for an extra $30 off. But until then, Brian, everybody, best of luck. Let's cash these tickets. We'll see you next week.
Good luck, everybody.